Hi and welcome to the Ruben Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Amazon's original series, The Boys. So The Boys comes out on the 27th of July. So this is another comic book adaptive storyline from Garth Ennis. We've already had Preacher, and if you like Preacher, then you're probably going to like this storyline. This is a new version or storytelling of a superhero tale, but with a massive twist. This is not MCU. If you took Heroes and The Watchmen and you put them together and you mix them with the scripting and dialogue from Preacher, then you're somewhere in the vicinity of what this series is. So there's 8 episodes and they all run just kind of under an hour, anywhere from 45 minutes to 50 to an hour. The last episode, episode 8, is particularly a longer one. They're kind of wrapping up the storyline they've got for it. If you're a fan of Garth Ennis, then you've probably been watching all the clips and the trailers that Amazon have been putting out. And I can say for the most part, this storyline is similar to what they've seen on the trailers, and they haven't shown everything in the trailers. We are kind of living in a world that is saturated with hero films, the MCU, DC, even, the TV series, Arrow, Supergirl, all of that. Most of the time, they're held back by wanting to get a demographic that's for everybody. And that's great. The MCU is amazing. I love what they've done for that. But with this type of writing, you can't really dumb it down. You can't make it kid-friendly because the writing and the scripting is so very adult.
Huh? Who's up for that?
If you've seen any of the episodes of Preacher, then you'll know what I'm talking about. In The Boys, it's very much the same. There is graphic violence, as in like people exploding, language that you probably wouldn't want to say to your mom or dad. But if you take the adult range of superheroes in scripting and dialogue, then that's what you get from The Boys. That's not to say it's not entertaining, because the scripting is so tight, the storylines are so good that this is highly bingeable. If you put on episode 1 and you are easily addicted to stuff like this, then you should probably space yourself out a good few hours, because you're probably going to want to watch all the episodes if possible in one go, or at least over a couple of days. So The Boys is set in a world where superheroes are a normal day, everyday thing, but people want to be, if you are a superhero, you want to be the best of the best of the best. There's hero camps, there's hero learning how to be the best hero you can be depending on your powers. And then there are the 7, the top, the best of the best of the heroes, the best of the best, sir. And they are revered as gods. They have powers like gods. They have as much power as politicians do. And the series asks multiple questions about the morality of what superheroes would do with that amount of power, with government power, with unlimited funding, with being controlled by the media, with being almost worshipped like gods,
Godlike people,
with being as popular as celebrities, and then it kind of twist that kind of hero that we've all seen. And so the story centers around this guy named Huey, who something unspeakable happens to a loved one, and from there he gets recruited by Billy Butcher. He is played by Karl Urban, who is fantastic in this series. For me, in amongst the plethora of great actors and people who play heroes and cops and FBIs and bad guys, Karl Urban was the center of, I would say, the acting is probably by far my favorite character. He has so much presence. Every time he's on screen, you just want to see more from him.
Oi, what's Sporty Spice up to?
So Huey gets roped into Bully the Butcher's world. There's kind of this gang almost of trying to take down the superheroes.
That's where I come in.
Which is weird, even just saying that line. And if you haven't read any of the comics, I would say don't, because you want to go in fresh, maybe read them afterwards if you're quite interested in this whole new universe, this world, because it's really quite interesting the kind of implications that you have to go after the heroes. For the most part, I was riveted with every episode. I thought it was filmed well, I thought it was acted well. There are particularly some shots in cinematography wise which I thought was great. I had the most facial expressions I've ever had in a series before. In one moment you can have excessive amount of gore, and then the next moment this can be a brilliant dialogue line that will literally have me belly laughing, and then the next moment I'll be like, I shouldn't be watching this, that's not okay, and then it just carries on like that. The genres are mixed. It's not just sci-fi or hero, it's drama, it's action. There's real sadness to the character development, which is written into the story because Garth Ennis is so good at what he does. He writes so brilliantly, and I think they've adapted well because obviously his hand has been fully immersed in this. I really hope we get more, because I believe there is more, and I think they've done this really well. We're getting the last season of Preacher coming up, so there is space for this to continue. I really do hope they continue making series like this, because they're kind of pushing the boundaries. They're giving adults something to watch as well. In this world we now live in, with that saturated with heroes, there's something for I think older people rather than the youngings. There are an amazing amount of actors in this as well. I thought he plays Huey's dad, and I thought it was great. I'm just not so sure about his accent. Let me know. I'm not the best at accents, so I don't know a lot about that, but I did feel like his English accent clashed with his American accent at times, and I just didn't quite buy it. Or maybe it's because it's in my ear and I can kind of hear him speaking in his English accent. Let me know. That was kind of my only thing that I didn't like about it, and that's just like pulling at this thread. I thought this was a fantastic series, definitely not for the younger viewer, but if you were interested in checking this out and you were on the fence, I would say go for it. If you like a bit more darker hero stuff, the Watchmen, Preacher, that kind of stuff, you're going to love this. There are so many actors that I would love to talk about and name, and the characters, the 7 main heroes which are so unique. There's an invisible guy, there's a guy that has powers similar to Superman, it's called Bad Evil Superman. There are heroes that are very conflicted in who they are and what they are and what do they afford. All of the heroes are kind of going through their own story arc and what it's like to be controlled by the public, by PR, much what it seems like to be with some of our celebrities now. There are definitely these moments where the series kind of reflects back at society of what we're going through today, and it kind of says, what if you did have a world with superheroes that were like this? What would it be like? And it says, here, have a look. And it's pretty horrific in times, it's pretty funny in times, but it's definitely enjoyable if you like the darker series. I think it's easy to watch. I thought all the actors were great. The cinematography and the sound and the score worked really well. I particularly liked the soundtrack in moments, kind of fleshed out the scenes, like it really gave character and tone to some of the episodes and carried over to the next scene. It kind of, sometimes I thought it controlled the scene, but in a good way, not a bad way, like with like, oh, here, look at a soundtrack. But I thought, yeah, it really added something, and I thought that was great. I love the style and the tone. It definitely has that green kind of sci-fi over color palette to it, which I think works. Sometimes they can go too hard and heavy with that sort of thing, but it worked in this. I'm looking forward to more series like this. Let me know in the comments below, are you as hyped for the series as everybody else is, or do you not really care? Do you like more adult versions of like the hero subject matter that we're now getting, like with Preacher? Do let me know in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up if you liked this review, if you agreed with me, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.